Hello there. Hello there. I'm just going to wait a little while to see what happens. With this particular live, we're doing things a little bit differently. I've opened up a little bit more energy around the Sacred Rose Awakening, which is, of course, the book that I've been writing for quite some time based on my own personal spiritual journey, starting from the time when a friend of mine passed away and the spirit oneness started to mass and merge and show me things that I didn't really see before. The awakening of a sacred rose, the foundational principles that a lot of the sister circles are based on. So I've set it up, hopefully, if you're tuning into the Sacred Sister Soul Circles Facebook group, you'll be able to hear this. This is partially to prepare for the conversation that I'm having with Amanda online next week. If you're in Denver or the States or Canada, it'll be on next Tuesday evening, and it'll be Friday late morning here in Australia. Of course, that'll be probably early afternoon in New Zealand if that's where you're tuning in from. So we're planning on doing a live next week. I have committed to doing this project, and part of it is experimentation, because the desire here is to discover ways in which women can work in organic ways that align with their frequency, rather than adhering to a dominant masculine construct that has been given to us to contain our energy. Of course, a part of our work will always require some containment, which is again a masculine energy, but we are overtly masculinized in this society. So when we talk about the rising voice of the sacred feminine, to gift her with more potency through presence in community, we are asking you to take greater responsibility for yourself and how you show up organically. There's a saying Spirit has just given me about following the goat's path. It's the saying, follow the goat's path. And we're going to give you an analogy. I've used this before to describe the difference between a masculine construct and a feminine construct. A masculine construct would be, say, I'm about to build a house. So I'm going to situate a house there because that's where I want to put the house, and I'm going to build it and construct it. And I'm going to decide that I want the pathway from the street to the front door to be in this direction, in this way. And so I build that pathway. And as I build that pathway, I'm just assuming that it's going to be the way that everybody needs the pathway to be built. And this is a masculine construct. This is me deciding on the way that it's going to go and creating a structure that basically directs people's energy into a particular space and making that decision on behalf of the many, that that's the way that you're going to walk to the front door. The goat's path as a concept is a feminine energy. And if I can offer that as a contrast, the goat's path is, we might have a house that we build and there happens to be a front door. In fact, there may be many doors, but there happens to be a front door. And we're just going to wait and see how people find their way from the street to the front door. And as they do that, a natural pathway will start to become apparent. That pathway is probably the most logical one to build based on where it is that people naturally walk. And so with this comes a sense of ease. I'm not trying to build a structure and force people or push people to do things in a particular way. I'm actually opening up the door to say, okay, let's just see where it is that people naturally walk. And when we notice where it is that they seem to naturally walk, we provide structures around where people naturally walk in order to be able to help people to navigate their way to the front door in a way that's more likely to align with what they would naturally do. And so this is what the feminine construct is. A lot of the feminine construct in terms of business matters is, say, I have this particular product and of course this is me and this is how I want to show up. And instead of building this structure and saying this is the way that people are going to access me, I go, okay, well, this is who I am and this is what I offer. And the universe knows why I'm here and what it is that I'm doing. And there are people in my life who get the idea of what it is that I'm offering. And I notice that these particular people seem attracted to the work that I'm doing, and these people don't actually give a fuck about the work that I do. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it easier for the people who want to find me, for the people who actually seem to want to be here. And so I'm going to create some containment or alignment to allow those people to easily find their way down the goat path. And chances are there are people out there just like them who probably also want access to this house. And so they're just going to find their way through that. Once I create something and it becomes really obvious that that's the easiest way for them to access what it is that they're seeking, and I just happen to offer that. And so this is a feminine way. So thank you for letting me share that analogy and story. If you are jumping online and you are receiving this, please just jump on and say hi. Let me acknowledge you. I'm also just going to acknowledge the land mass that I'm situated on. At the moment, I am on Bundjalung land here. And this Bundjalung land is the custodians of which are the Bundjalung Nation people. And I respect their elders past, present and future and acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. It's really important for me that I start with a natural desire that I have to pay respect to the landmass, because it's not just me here. As I'm standing here, I'm also impacting an environment. And so if I wish to be reveling in my potency and offering a potent voice that can be heard and acknowledged and felt and seen and received in the manner that it's intended, then I do need to firstly acknowledge who I am and acknowledge where I am, which is here. And so from that moment on, I'm just going to stay here with the vibration of understanding that my intentionality here is to be a force of love, to be a catalyst for love inside of you, and to assist love in all things to bloom. For me, that's the Sacred Rose Awakening. And that's why we created the Sister Circles, is so that each individual woman who comes to the circles is able to voice themselves in some way, shape or form. This is why we always start with an I am present as we call ourselves into the circle. I am present. I am here. I'm choosing to be here. This acknowledgement of personal decision making, of free will, that it is my free will that has me here, is a part of the nexus of power. It's a part of claiming the space that you're in so that you can increase your potency. And so once I'm there, I start a dialogue with myself to understand what it is that's preventing me from maybe voicing myself. And this is what this month's Sister Circle will be about. I'll be channeling a little bit for you. We'll be offering you, Spirit has given me the term games, and the reason why we say games is that sometimes we get so serious with our spirituality that we actually disconnect from the experience of it, the embodied experience of it. And so Spirit is saying we're going to play a little bit actually in the circle, give you some things to be curious about and to explore and to express within your own body that will help you to understand why you're there. My sister Amanda is going to come in as a space holder. As I said, we'll be doing the live on the 17th or 18th of August, depending on where you are geographically located, so where your here is. And we're doing that specifically partially because also a part of this project is to shine a light on the practitioners that are around us, that are available to us. Again, Spirit is reminding me the sacred feminine way is to honor the geographical grid where you're on. So this would be finding a local practitioner and finding out how to support them in their journey to reclaim that aspect of the healer in our community. And when we use the term healer, we want to separate the healer from, the medicos and the individuals that are there to provide a pharmaceutical option, or that are currently based in the medical profession. We're only doing that for the purposes of allowing space to be created for the feminine energy to rise. The contrast is needed. People need alternatives to the mainstream. This is a part of a healthy community. It's not about one winning over the other. That's the old paradigm, and that's the masculine construct, toxic masculine construct that says that there's only one answer and there's only one professional and there's only one kind of streamlined response. We know that that's not true, because we also know that sometimes what we need for wellness can't be taken in a pill, and it can't be a surgical option, and it can't be. Sometimes the origins of the issue lie in the fundamental structures of your early childhood trauma, which is maybe the absence of a mother or a parent to parent you. And so we can work sometimes on physiological issues in the energetic space, in the emotional somatic space, which is why Jean Church, we've had her in some of our circles, and we really do love to work with her. Of course, she is not the only woman out there who does that type of work, because a part of this process is also to introduce you to different service providers and different alternatives, so that you can, through your sovereign voice, decide what is best for you, where your next steps lie, what you want. And if you get a bit befuddled about maybe what you need or how that works, then of course you reach out to someone to have a conversation around that. And that's the type of work that I do, is to help you navigate that paradigm for you. Our emphasis here is on you being powerful. Our emphasis here is on you having options and knowing what they are. Our emphasis here is on acceptance that everything that's in your field right now, no matter how you feel about it, is there by divine design and on some level by your choice. I say that, and I know that so many of you would get triggered by that very conversation. And I actually understand why you would get triggered by that, because it hooks into a lot of the trauma of childhood that somehow, when your parents parented you, they just presumed that you would know some of the stuff that they wanted you to know. And when you didn't know what they wanted you to know, they got frustrated and maybe they yelled at you. And so we do often put pressure on ourselves to feel like we need to know everything and we need to be in control all the time. And again, this is an overt masculine, dominant, patriarchal idea. Being responsible for me and being in ownership and being a sovereign of my own experience, acknowledging that I always get to choose, keeps me in the seat of powerful. It keeps me in the seat of, I know why I'm here, and I know I have the ability to make a different choice here. And when you're there, you will find that you will see the world as being more available to you, including with relationships, including with career, including with housing situations, including with money. And you'll be able to put the toxicity of your own past life experience and relationships where it belongs, which is back into the hands of the people who may have been imbalanced in that interaction. Spirit is saying, we'll talk more about this in the circle a little. The circles are supposed to be about you engaging in your own voice. And so with that, I'm just going to sign off and say kisses. So the 20th and the 21st, depending on what hemisphere. So if you're in North America, it's on the Friday evening. Fridays are very important for the sacred feminine, so that's why we have it on the Friday evening. It's got to do with the sacred magic of the goddess frequency. And if you want to look up the goddess Freya, you're welcome to. I work with Gaia, of course, energy personally. So the frequency of me and where I'm geographically located is actually a very important gift of giving. And so wherever I'm located, there will be potency to the circles that relate to the geographical grid here, which is why in Australia on Saturday, there's a lot more peace. to access what it is that I access with the Australian continent. And so we'll talk more about that another time when we talk more about potency, because at the moment we're talking more about the I am presence and less about the time-space continuum in this particular circle. But all of these energetics are important, and when you figure out that this information's been with you this whole time and has been available to you this whole time, and that you get access to them at any time, when you relax and chill out a little bit more about your body and your mind and your spirit and how you show up, then more of this information will be accessible to you, and you'll be able to wield it in powerful ways to get your voice out, so that what you say is taken as valued, as taken as being important, and is it goes places. You know, that's what potency is. It's being able to say what I say with words that have meaning, that have integrity, and that they reach people. They reach people who are ready to receive it. So potency. Come and join us Friday or Saturday. And if that's not a time period that's convenient, I'm also doing a sound healing, sound and past life journey on the Saturday the 22nd, which is just before an astrological conjuncture that's going to completely change things. There's a massive shift. So we're in a window of energy at the moment where please make sure that you're expressing your voice. Potency is actually where the energy is lying right now. So be that gift that you are. Recognize that the Earth Mama and you chose to be here. So show up as you. Kisses. I love you, beautiful women. I look forward to our next time. Haven't seen any comments, so I'm not quite sure how we're navigating this. So if you're on the Sacred Sister Soul Circles making comments, I'm going to go and check them now, and we'll convene in a couple of days. All right. Bye, beloveds. Be well. See you.